Hello. I didn't see you there. And welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. Early on Friday. Gotta get down on Friday, October 20th of 2023. It's a show that's available in podcast form wherever you get it. Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. It's also available live, sort of whenever the fuck I feel like it, at twitch.tv/Gallant Says, youtube.com/Paul Gallant. You know, it's times like these, as a wise philosopher once said, that you learn to live again. It's times like these that you give and give again. It's times like these that you learn to love again. And I love you. And I'd like to share something with you.
Why did they argue the umpire's call? Why did the fielders crash into walls? Why do you think the pitchers throw smoke? Why do you think they go for broke? Who says it's only a game? Why do the catchers wear iron masks? Why do they dive for the dive on the grass? Why do they go head first into home? Why do the losers feel all alone? Who says it's only a game? When you wanted to give it all you got, the war's not over till the final shot. It's pride and glory and fame. Who says it's only a game? Why do you think they call them spikes? Why do you think they call them strikes? Why do they give it more than they've got? Why do they always reach for the top? Who says it's only a game?
Astros baseball. Who says it's only a game? I love that song. Now, I would never do the drugs, uppers, etc. That said, that song sort of serves as one. And our beloved Houston Astros, as we all expected with this team, down 0-2, have evened up the ALCS by absolutely ravaging the Texas Rangers 10-3 yesterday up in Arlington. I watched the game last night with some friends at Drift. Sober October, still maintained. Gotta say, every single time that I go to a bar and watch these games without drinking, I feel a little bit better about my ability to have fun without drinking. We'll see how long that lasts when I get back into actually doing it. From the get-go, you got the feeling the Astros were going to run away with this one. I had a tough time parking when I first got to that stretch in the Heights, 19th. It's a zoo, all those bars that are there, McIntyre's, you got Austin's, among others. And as I finally figured out a parking spot, I see televisions everywhere that are showing the Astros game. Altuve gets the double. Mauricio Dubon gets the single. Good game for him in the 2 spot. Thank you, Dusty Baker. I got a In Dusty We Trusty t-shirt. It just arrived right before I went out to the bars. Wore that bad boy out. Alex Bregman, he gets a triple. How about that? He scores those 2. It's 2-0. Yordan Alvarez, he singles. It's 3-0. There's no outs. And you're thinking, oh, they're going to run away with this. And it's just one game. We take things a game at a time here. We don't get too high. We don't get too low. We focus on the task at hand. We focus on the day that we're a part of, the present, because tonight, Game 5, biggest game of the season for the Astros. Today, the biggest day of your life. But they're up 3-0, and you're feeling great. Could they have gotten more runs in the first inning? Maybe. So Jose Urquidy has a good first inning. And you're thinking, maybe he's going to be the guy that he was in Minnesota. I'll admit, if you listened to me on the radio yesterday, I had my doubts that Jose Urquidy was going to be that guy. Again, Minnesota strikes out a lot. They hit a lot of home runs, but they strike out a lot. The Rangers have a better lineup. And I've been waiting for Adolis Garcia, who always has had his way with the Houston Astros, to do something in this series. So in the second inning, he gets the home run. There's a walk. There's a double. Runners on second and third. Urquidy gets out of it, but one of them scores on a sac fly. So it's 3-2. And all of a sudden, you're starting to feel a little bit tense. And you're like, oh, fuck. What if it wasn't Martin Maldonado that was in there? I mean, the Astros did have the bases loaded for a moment in the first. We'll get back to that in a moment. Then in the third inning, Corey Seager ties it with a home run. There's 2 singles, and you're like, oh, Jesus. So credit to Dusty Baker. He pulled Urquidy there. Didn't let it get any worse. Urquidy looked like he was a little bit rattled out there. And look, he gave you a good performance against the Minnesota Twins. I'm not going to dump on him too much. This is not an arm that you should be relying on in the postseason, but because of injuries to Luis Garcia, to Lance McCullers, among others, this is the guy that you have to throw out there for Game 4. So Ryan Stanek comes in, and shout out to people who get the job done without having to do anything in life. I love you. I'm jealous of you. Ryan Stanek comes in, 1 pitch, 1 double play. He would end up getting the win a little bit later. Holy shit. We'll read some of your comments in a moment. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant, Twitch.tv/Gallant says. So the game's tied, and you're feeling a little stressed entering the fourth. And maybe you're thinking about missed opportunities earlier in the season, or excuse me, in this series. The Astros had the bases loaded with no outs in Game 2. Martin Maldonado struck out with the bases loaded opportunity in the first inning. And then all of a sudden, the Astros have the bases loaded and there's no outs. I'm not going to lie, for a moment, I doubted. I felt bad. Doubting Thomas, doubting Paul here. Bregman strikes out, Yordan hits a sac fly, and it's 4-3, and you're like, okay, 1 run is nice, but are they really going to leave this inning and nothing's going to happen? And then the hero of last night's game stepped up. Jose fucking Abreu, man. 3-run homer, 7-3, game over. And, you know, we've given Jose Abreu a lot of shit this season. I think there were metrics last year that seemed to indicate he was on the decline. 3 years, $58.5 million for a guy who used to be Jose Abreu is great if he's the old Jose Abreu. But this regular season was a struggle. Down the stretch, though, he was better. And in that series against the Diamondbacks, where the Astros were able to clinch the AL West, he showed some signs of life, and he had been showing some signs of life in the weeks before. But he's been great in this postseason. And are we crediting Jeff Bagwell for this move? For advising Jim Crane to look at the back of the baseball card when this team didn't have a general manager? Honestly, right now, I think with Jose Abreu's performance, if the Astros are able to advance to another World Series, I feel like you can say, yeah, the Abreu contract maybe was a bit of an overpay, but it was worth it. Because would Yuli Gurriel be doing these things? And look, Yuli Gurriel always clutch. Yuli Gurriel had a pretty good postseason himself last season, which was pretty surprising considering the regular season he had before. Obviously, he was a little bit cheaper. And it was surprising as well, given that the year before he had won the batting title and a Gold Glove. But it's not just that Abreu hit that 3-run homer. It's Abreu with the double play of all double plays. I did not know that if you tagged a person on the glove. I was curious about it because I saw the replay at first where there's a line drive to Jose Abreu with no outs, and there's a runner on first base, Marcus Semien. He catches the ball. He's slow. Maybe he should have dove. I don't know. His shirt's unbuttoned. You don't want to get dirt or AstroTurf rubber, you know, in your chesticles. But he reaches out and he tags, and I remember seeing the replay and I was like, well, he definitely hit the finger. And then they started showing the replay and they zoom in, and because I saw the finger moved the first time that they showed the replay. And I'm like, I don't know what the rule is, and I didn't want to ask aloud online because I didn't want to seem like an idiot. But most people know I don't know as much about baseball as I probably should. But I thought to myself, it looked like he got the glove. And he did get the glove. That was a great play there. Abreu's made a couple of great defensive plays. There was another play in the 8th inning. Jose Altuve had an incredible sort of shortstop caliber throw, rolling to his left and in midair, throwing it to first. The throw is right on the money. Abreu, though, had an incredible scoop there. Abreu's the hero of last night's game. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for anybody that has a rough season. Everyone's, the pitchforks, the torches are out, and the guy actually ends up taking care of business when it matters most. So credit to Jose Abreu. So it's 7-3, and that's where the bullpen took over because Ryan Stanek, was done after one pitch, which maybe was a good thing. Poor guy. Last postseason, he barely pitched as well. Hunter Brown comes in. Hunter Brown, that experience has not been fun, especially of late. I was wondering if he would even pitch in this postseason. But he strikes out 2 of 3 in the 4th. The 5th inning, that's where the double play happened. But the 6th inning, he goes 1-2-3 as well. Great to see that from Hunter Brown. Hopefully that's somebody that they can rely on again, should they have to go away from their starter early on in a game. I feel like he's sort of in the same category as JP France, where there have been moments with the Astros where you've really liked what you've seen. Most of Brown's were in 2022. Most of JP France's were before the last couple of months of the year. But those are the guys that you have in your back pocket if shit hits the fan for a guy like Urquidy, or on Sunday for Game 6 at Minute Maid Park, say things don't go so well for Framber Valdez. Phil Maton came in 1-2-3 in the 7th, faced 4 batters in the 8th. He struck out the last 2 right after Jose Altuve had doubled and Yordan scored him, so it's a 10-3 game. This thing was fucking over at that point in time. And Rafael Montero wasn't eventful. It's 10-3. Even if it was eventful, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but a 4-batter 9th. He's actually had a pretty good series to this point too, so I will tip my hat very, very slightly to Rafael Montero. And fuck it, Jeff Bagwell. Some of those moves are looking not so bad right now. I'm not saying they're looking great, but not so bad. I will give a shout out to Dusty Baker. I told you guys that I wore my In Dusty, We Trusty t-shirt to the game. I was very curious as to how he was going to manage the lineup. When we saw Mauricio Dubon in the 2-hole, I actually loved it. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. The guy had a good regular season. Give him an opportunity here if you're not going to play Michael Brantley against Heaney. And it obviously worked out. I was curious about what would happen later in the game. Dubon in the 2-hole, by the way, he's batting .471 this postseason. That is the highest average on the team, much like it was the highest average for the Astros, what he was doing at the very beginning of the year. They did move Kyle Tucker back up, probably for the best. Not a great night at the plate for Kyle Tucker. He's 0 for 5. But I was wondering about what would happen with Chas McCormick, too, once Heaney was chased from the game. Would they move Michael Brantley into that spot? Because we like Chas. I think, though, if you're asking who you trust between Michael Brantley and Chas McCormick, you trust McCormick more. So maybe Brantley got the day off, but McCormick gets that big 2-run home run as what inning was that in? 7th inning. So 2-run homer. Then you could really breathe a sigh of relief. Because with the way that the Rangers were playing early, I was like, well, they do have the offense that it makes them capable of getting back into a game with the Astros to get in a firefight of sorts. And the other thing that I like from Dusty, he maybe could argue he could have pulled Urquidy a little bit earlier, but he did pull him rather quickly. So there you go. Let's take a look at some of the chat comments. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant, Twitch.tv/Gallant says, Tim Batchelor, why are we awake right now? A great question. I was tired when I got home, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this tomorrow morning. Honestly, I even slept in a little bit. I'm pretty bad with the snooze button. Akia Kominka Life from Hiroshima. What's up? That's our guy. International audience. And Fuentes Respecter. I literally was just looking up your show on YouTube to see if you had gone live. I should have gone live last night. Going to these games at the bars, I'm not drinking. I'm just tired when I get home. It has been a long week. Honestly, kind of my own fault. It started with going to Austin on Friday to go see ACL, sleeping on my friend's couch, not getting a lot of sleep on Friday, not getting a lot of sleep on Saturday, driving back from ACL Sunday morning, going to the Texans game, going to the Astros game later in the day, going to the Astros games a little bit earlier the next day, and not making up with any more sleep in the meantime. And of course, we're going to be at East River 9 today at ESPN 97.5. I'm going to, once John and Lance start, so that's in a couple of minutes, I'm just going to go off the air. Those are my guys. Make sure you're tuned into them. And they're going to be at East River 9. I will be at East River 9 as well, 10 o'clock. Great place. Beautiful skyline view of Houston. And really good chicken sandwiches, by the way. Hang on, about to sneeze. Oh, God. Really sexy, huh? Akia Kaminka Life says, it's not even 9 p.m. where I live at youtube.com/PaulGallant. What's your reason? Yeah, again, I just procrastinated. Master procrastinator. Mark Games says JV Day. Yeah, I think I'm going to wear the Justin Verlander 90s Astros throwback jersey that they gave out at Minute Maid Park at some game last year. I want to say it was an Angels game. And Mr. Ribby88 says, wow, actually catching you live for once. Well, welcome aboard. Yeah, normally we do it at night. Mr. Ribby says, the best thing about this is humbling the insufferable Rangers fans after those first 2 losses. If you want to have some fun, go on my TikTok. And again, this series is far from over. I'm very nervous about Game 6 with Framber on the hill. And we'll see with Verlander. You know, that's a good Rangers lineup. I know that Verlander looked good last time around, but that is a good Rangers lineup. And now they're going to be seeing him for a second time. So I'm not like super confident in what the pitch is going to be able to bring to the table. They're going to have to do what they've done the last 2 games, which is offense, score early, make it easier for the starting pitchers. I don't even acknowledge the Rangers fans. Like, they're dirty people, to quote The Departed. That's what the Italian mob says about the Irish. Oh, what are they eating, potatoes or something? Oh! That's my people. I guess I can say that about my people. You could have gone with, like, the alcoholics joke. Whatever. Bringing it back to here. I am waiting until the end of this series for any pushback, but go to my TikTok and take a look at some of the really, the posts that have the most views. Read how many comments have said, this aged well, that were made after Game 1, after Game 2. Because I was condescendingly tipping my cap to the Rangers after Game 1. Didn't do it after Game 2. Because I have supreme confidence in the Astros. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout tonight. Well, I would love to be surprised, that's for sure. Akia says, I was being released from the hospital after 46 days recovering from leg clots. At the same time, the Astros were thumping the Rangers. Fuck, Akia. Well, I hope you're doing better, man. Our-Sense, who needs alcohol when you can have shrooms? You know what, Our-Sense? Someone was telling me about that yesterday. I guess there's a place in Houston where you can theoretically, under the table, get shroom gummies. I've done shrooms once. It does give you like a really nice, like happy feeling. Very, very harmless. I've always been terrified, and I think most people are terrified if you don't microdose, if you go super heavy with the shrooms, that you're going to start seeing shit. But the one time I did it, I did not. I enjoyed it. Is that illegal? NJ Fuentes Respecter, worth it as long as he doesn't completely crap himself for the remainder of the games. I think talking about Jose Abreu here. Joseph Nunez says, finally caught the chat live. Love the show, brother. Go Astros. Well, I appreciate you for tuning in. Aaron Russell, huge confidence boost for the rookie. I'm assuming that's talking about Hunter Brown. It is weird to think of Hunter Brown as a rookie, but he did pitch very well there. And look, they're probably going to need him again at some point. James said, I had a dream. I told Paul he was the shit, and he smirked and walked away. What a life. Well, actually, if you told me that, it would make my day, and I wouldn't smirk. I would probably hug you. Joseph Nunez says, Dubon is the unsung hero. He has been good to start things off. Piggy 2009, I was looking for you. I'm so excited. You should be. This is a good day. Tonight's the biggest game of the season. Today is the best day of your life. Happy birthday, Piggy, turning 50. How to go to the police station yesterday, asks Rhonda, because my car got assaulted at Minute Maid Park. You know what? Actually went really easy. I was in and out in 10 minutes. The cop was pretty cool. He was like, yeah, we're probably not going to look at this. And I was like, I know. I just need a police report number for help with insurance. He was very cool. Joseph Nunez says, can you shoot me a shout out so I can show my wife? She says I'm always watching your show. Well, Joseph Nunez is one of the highest caliber human beings in the world, mainly because he watches my show, but also because he watches my show. And you are a lucky lady. How about that? Joe Mama says, hey, Paul, congrats on tying the series. I'm sure you won't be too insufferable to us Rangers fans today. Look, the series is even. I can't be too insufferable. I mean, the Rangers took care of business in game 1 and game 2. It's more the people that have been like coming after me saying, like, this aged well. Those people, they can fuck off. But, I do want to say, the series is far from over. I just feel very confident in the Astros' chances the rest of the way. Junior Broncos is joining right now at twitch.tv/Gallant says, this is where I sign off. If you are a sports radio listener, the bench is on right now. You should be listening to John and Lance. They've been doing radio in Houston for like 20 years. So make sure that you tune in. Tune into my radio show. It starts at 10. This will be in podcast form in case you missed any of it. Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And it's always available youtube.com/Paul Gallant, twitch.tv/Gallant says. We will be back live tonight after I get back from East River 9 and what hopefully will be an Astros Game 5 win. Until then, so long, farewell. Have yourselves a wonderful Friday, and you'll hear